E. Martin in the house. I'm with my 3 of my 4 crazy daughters. There's Shy. Say hey, what's up, Shy? All right, Jasmine. What up, baby girl? And Z Lo in his house. All right, so I'm turning it, and this is their dad. I don't know how this is gonna work out, but anyway, we are at the Cheesecake Factory, putting it in, and I don't get to hang out with these sisters too often because they all grown now, and they don't like hanging out with me like they did when they was little.
That is not true.
So
that is not the reason.
That's not the reason.
Do not be lying to the internet like that.
Y'all ain't grown.
Well, we
It's
are
not
grown,
true.
but not too
Y'all
grown for you.
not too grown for your dad. All right, well, that makes me feel better. All right, we gonna put it away though, ladies. We gonna put it in. All right, I love you all, and I just wanted to holler at you. Peace.
Good morning, Millennials and Gen Z. Welcome to Sharing My Wisdom podcast with Uncle E, your favorite internet uncle. I know I am. All right. We are back today for another live stream on Sharing My Wisdom podcast, where I want to share my wisdom with the Millennials and Gen Z and Gen Alpha. So welcome. It's another live stream. And let's see. Mi amigos. ¿Qué pasó? Mi amigos and amigas. ¿Qué pasó? Bienvenidos aquí. ¿Cómo te sientes? Hoy. Gracias. All right. I welcome you as well, my Spanish speakers. We are going to be taking a look at the USA housing crisis. Is it obtainable? And the reason that I decided to pick that as a topic is I do my research with and for Millennials and Gen Z. That's a pretty hot topic in y'all's world right now. And just a lot of discussions on whether or not affordable housing is going to happen for you now or in the future, or is it going to, are you ever going to be in a position to afford a home? And I want to encourage you all, you will be. The economy is not always going to be as tough as it is. And you will figure out a way, right? So I have a video that I want to share with you today, speaking about affordable housing and the housing crisis. And I get my information doing my live streams from TikTok. And the reason that I use TikTok is because TikTok is for me, it's a library of education. It's amazing the amount of information that is available on TikTok for educational purposes. I know social media platforms most of the times are there for fun and you go to get away from a lot of different things. But for me, I look at it as an educational component because I'm amazed at the amount of information that people share, just about their privacy. And so I take that information and I'm going to use it in a good way, not in a bad way. And just wanted to share with you and have dialogue with you, Millennials and Gen Z, and talk about the United States housing market, the crisis, as many of you Millennials and Gen Z see it. So I completely understand where you're coming from. Before we go into the video, I wanted to share with you my 23 ebooks that I've written, and they go hand in hand with Sharing My Wisdom podcast with Uncle E. So I'm going to take you to my YouTube channel, and then I'm going to show you exactly my ebook. So this is my YouTube channel, Share My Wisdom podcast with Uncle E. When you go to, this is my face page here, my front page, and you click on more, you will see my About Me and additional links. If you go down to the link that says Share My Wisdom podcast ebooks, you click on it. These are my ebooks. And I've written 23 ebooks. I'm going to show them to you. There's 23 of them. Right? And I sell my ebooks for $7 a piece, and they'll make a lot more sense for you to purchase them and see exactly how I'm sharing my wisdom with millennials and Gen Z. So there's 23 of them, $7 a piece. I have one that's $15 that goes with my other YouTube channel, Grow Dad YouTube channel, for Grow Dads, fathers of daughters. So that one's $15 if you're interested in reading that. Or you could purchase the 22 of 23 of my ebooks for $100. So the 22 ebooks that I sell for $100 does not include the Daddy's Girls book. Okay? But I just want to share that with you, millennials and Gen Z, so you can see that I'm a pretty educated brother, and I know my shit, and I just want to share my wisdom with you. So I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to challenge you, but what I am here is to share my wisdom. Okay? So let me get out of this and go back. Give me a second here. Okay, millennials and Gen Z. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And like I said, I really appreciate TikTok and other social media platforms because just the wealth of information. And I'm going to be doing all my ebooks that I sell. I'm going to be doing live streams on those as well, on sharing my wisdom podcasts with Uncle E. So I encourage you to follow me, subscribe, like, share, and to follow me so you can be updated every week. Now, when you do follow me, you have to subscribe with the bell. So that way, every time I come up for a live stream, you'll be notified. And I do live stream once a week. And just very, very, I feel blessed and very, very fortunate because I am a grow dad of 4 daughters, 36, 30, 27, and 24. They're amazing women. They're awesome women. So my girls are blessed. I'm blessed. And I just want to share my wisdom. And, hopefully I could reach and give millennials and Gen Z hope. It's one of my goals, is to give you hope and just be able to explain why a lot of things are happening. Okay. So with that being said, let's get into this video. It's about 20 minutes long, and then I'll come back and we'll talk a little bit further. Okay. And I'm going to share some statistics with you on the housing and what housing looked like between 1965 and today, and what the prices were and the differences of how the housing market has shaped itself in the last 30, 40 years. Okay. So, all right, this video is about 20 minutes long.
The housing market has become so unaffordable for most Americans over the past 4 years, and I want to show you what happened. In February of 2020, the average house in this country was $275,000. If you put a 10% down payment and got a 3.52% interest rate, your principal and interest was $1,114 plus $500 for property tax and insurance. Put your payment out the door at $1,614. The average American only needed about $50,000 in a salary with very little debt to qualify for the average home in America. That was awesome, the American dream. Now in February of 2022, the average home went up to about $350,000. 10% down, but the interest rates were still 3.73%. So principal and interest was $1,455 plus about $600 for property tax and homeowner insurance. Put your payment out the door at $2,055. So you needed about $65,000 in a salary with very little debt to qualify. Still very doable. Now let's fast forward to current day, February 2024. Home prices have shot up to $415,000, 10% down payment. Interest rates are 6.75%, $2,423 principal and interest, $700 for property tax and homeowners insurance. Now you're looking at $3,123. So now you need about $95,000 to qualify if you have very little debt. So if you look at the down payments over the year, it's gone up only about $14,000, $15,000, which is a lot, but also doable in 4 years. But what really pinched Americans is how many individuals went from $50,000 to almost $100,000 in salary in just 4 years. That's why so many Americans can't afford a home right now.
People are afraid to talk about how bad it is. There's nights where I'm not sleeping because I'm like, how are we going to make it?
Jennifer Smith moved into a new house 8 years ago, and she used her line of credit to help cover the costs.
Crime was escalating, and I had a 1-year-old baby at the time. Even though I know I'm in this credit card debt, I'm like, we can't stay here. This is not a safe area.
Smith's rent is now just over $3,200 a month, not including utilities. She's still struggling to pay off her debt.
Honestly, it comes down to having to skip payments because I'm going to pay my credit card or my line of credit, or am I going to make sure my kids have lunch for a week?
Smith isn't alone. The governor of the Bank of Canada is concerned about renters shouldering more debt. Tiff Macklin told the Canadian Bankers Association in September that an increasing number of renters are carrying a balance of at least 90% of their credit limit. Some are missing payments.
My credit is beyond shot right now. So even if I wanted to buy a house, no chance. Even if I wanted to leave this rental, I have no chance. There is no shame in being in debt. It is becoming a collective experience. Me discussing with one of my best friends about money and credit cards years ago is the reason I understand paying interest versus principal. You know, we're all in this.
Hey, Grandpa, what do you think is going on with the whole housing thing? Like, why can't people buy houses now?
Well, my generation worked till their hands bled. This generation, everybody's looking for a handout, buying $7 coffees. They wonder why they can't get a house.
You don't think it has anything to do with the fact that a house is like 7 times your income now? And when you were buying houses, it was like maybe 2 times your income?
Let me tell you something, kid. When I was your age, I made $1 a day, pushing a wheelbarrow full of gravel up Pikes Peak 3 times.
Don't feel like that's possible, but
what, you gonna complain some more? Your grandma worked at the factory for 67 years. 67 years. She only got $1 raise and she didn't complain. $1 raise the entire time she was there.
yeah, and Grandma has severe health issues because of all that work. She never took time off. She literally cannot walk.
Anyway, to answer your question, I guess it's laziness. No one wants to work.
Yep, I'm sure that's the issue.
This message is for the millennials, specifically the mid to late millennials. You guys fall in the neighborhood of late 20s to early 40s, especially if you're the ones that did everything your parents asked you to do, right? You went to college or you went to a trade school, and then you finally get your big boy or big girl job, right? And you start to get your coins up, and then boom, the economy goes to shit, and here we are. And you can't afford to buy a house. It's difficult to rent. Interest rates are sky high. Groceries are higher than ever. And so I just want you to know that the next time you hear someone in your family that's in my generation, I'm 60, discount the fact that it's harder for you than it was for us, I want you to show them this video because I'm going to share a few statistics from when I was your age. So listen, I got my first apartment in 1986. It was $675 a month. It was a 1-bedroom. 1-bedrooms in California right now are going for somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,900 to 2,000. That's the average. It can get higher and it can get lower, but the average is somewhere around $2,000 a month for a 1-bedroom. Then in 1992, I bought my first house in Southern California for $178,000. The interest rate was like a 7.5%, and it was in a great neighborhood. At the time, I was making $21,000 a year, and I think my ex-husband might have been making somewhere around $30,000 a year at best. We had 2 cars. We had money to spare, money to save. There was plenty of money left over, and 2 kids. So what prompted me to do this video is I saw a creator this morning. He looked to be about my age, and he's going on this tangent. And he's saying, millennials, y'all just lazy, and we did this and we did that. It is not the same. It is apples and oranges, okay? So some of us do see you. We recognize that. I have kids that are millennials. My son is 35 and my daughter's 32. I know what you guys are facing. Okay. I still encourage you, whatever little bit of money you have left, save it. I stick to that. But we also know that these are different times. And so for those of you in my generation, knock it off because y'all know damn well these kids are not facing the same things that we faced in the 80s. All right. Love y'all. Bye.
Halifax area landlords say the housing crisis is harming them too. Quote, I'm not making any money off that property other than equity in it.
Give me a break. Loser, that is your profit. You get a house for free. That should be good enough.
I do feel for the landlords who are losing money right now, like say $200, $300, $400, $500 a month. That's tough.
So what if you spin it as they only have to pay $200, $300, $400 a month to own a home? No matter what, investments have good years and bad years. Let's use my building, for example. It has 6 units. If out of my pocket every month extra, so say I take in rent and that covers the mortgage completely, but then out of my pocket I have to pay water, garbage removal, snow removal, etc., whatever, like those expenses. If at the end of the month I even pay $1,000 a month to then own a 6-unit building, I think that's a good deal. In these conditions, you're going to take what you can get, and if you then sell it. No one's forcing you to own the property. If your stock was going down and you thought it was a good time to get out, would you sell it? Go ahead.
America has 15.1 million vacant homes, while homelessness is at an all-time high of 650,000 human beings without housing. This is wild to me. I feel like most of these vacant homes are owned by these mega corporations and banks and people who just really don't need the homes. And they're taking away from people who actually do need the homes. As you can see, this is completely backwards. Everyone should be able to afford their own home, but it's not like that. The whole system is absolutely rigged to benefit the 2%. And the rest of us just have to just take it and suffer because, as we all know, whoever has the gold makes the rules. We don't have a homelessness problem. We have a greed problem, okay? That's what it is, and that's what it's always going to be until something changes. I feel like the whole world, how the inflation is up and how groceries is costing ridiculous amounts of money, everything is costing more and more. I feel like every week I'm like, are prices jumping up again? Like, and it's all because of the 2% greed, and it needs to end.
With breaking news from the National Association of Realtors, existing home sales in September fell 1% month to month to a seasonally adjusted annualized rate of 3.84 million units. That's right along expectations, but it is the lowest level since October of 2010. Sales down 3.5% from September of last year, and sales fell in all regions except the West. Now, this count is based on closings, so contracts signed likely in July and August. Mortgage rates started July close to 7% on the 30-year fix, then fell slowly through August to just below 6.5%. Rates are now a full percentage point lower than they were a year ago. Inventory rose 1.5% from August to 1.39 million homes for sale. That's a 4.3-month supply. And the pressure continues on prices. The median price of an existing home sold in September, $404,500. That's up 3% year over year and the 15th consecutive month of annual price gains. And that's why cash is king, 30% of sales, which is unusually high. Homes are sitting longer, an average 28 days compared with just 21 days a year ago. And first-time buyers really fell out, just 26% of September sales. That matches the all-time low from August.
Hi guys, how are you? So I am actually online looking for housing for somebody that I'm helping. And I heard about this website and they are all mixed mash with HPD. They're called NYC HDC. So very important when you go on their website, you know, they're going to tell you how to apply for affordable housing. And there's a link there for New York City Connect. But the interesting thing was I saw something that said find re-rentals. And I'm like, what is a re-rental? Because I've never heard of a re-rental. So right here, the definition is use the filters below to search HDC finance developments currently accepting applications for vacancies or replenishment of waiting list. to apply for the following instructions on the advertisement posted for each development. And then it says here, click here to view borough and unit size. So I went to Brooklyn, and then I went to unit size, 2-bedroom, very common, find re-rentals. So what the re-rental is, it's an opportunity to go into an apartment that somebody lived in, but they moved out, and they're just re-renting it, right? So it's not a new unit, but it's a re-rental, it's a rental. So a lot of people don't know about this. So when I had looked into it a little bit more, it states that when you are on your Housing Connect profile, right, make sure you have re-rentals checked in, because it's another opportunity. If somebody was living there for 12 months and they now vacated the unit, they will put it as a re-rental, and there's an opportunity that you will get called for this re-rental. So I think it's amazing. Look into re-rentals, go to your Housing Connect profile, make sure that it's checked, okay? Because you do want to get the opportunity to be called for the re-rental if you are looking for housing. So right now in Brooklyn, there's one in Prospect Heights, 1620 Fulton Street, Brooklyn, New York, Brownsville, Prospect Park South, Park Slope. So these are all great opportunities. So if I click here and I want to view the opportunity for the 2-bedroom, immediate vacancies and replenishment waiting list. Okay, so this is great. So it's a 1-bedroom, perfect. This is great. 2-bedroom, 939, 30% of the median income. So applications are now being accepted to replenish the waiting list. Individuals or households who meet the income and eligibility house size requirements listed in the table below may apply. Qualified applicants will be required to meet additional selection criteria such as asset limits. Guys, this is great. How do you apply? Applications may be requested in person or by mailing a self-addressed. Okay. Applications may also be requested by emailing marketing@springmanagement.net or by calling. So when you go ahead and click on these listings that are for the re-rentals, they will give you the phone number to the management company, an email address. So you have everything there. So re-rentals is definitely an opportunity. So I would definitely look into it. HDC.
If you're concerned about the price of housing in the state of Massachusetts, then we need to have a chat. I'm going to hold your hand and I'm going to say this in the most loving way possible. You're part of the problem. If you want things to change, you have to be a part of the solution. The problem that we have is the lack of housing and the lack of diverse housing. We need more than just single family homes. We need condos, we need apartments, we need mixed use buildings, we need multifamilies. There are so many different and diverse types of housing that we need in our communities, and we're not getting them. Not getting them because your asshole neighbors who have nothing better to do with their time go to these meetings and fight against everything new that is being proposed. Most people are doing it because they want to protect their property values. There's also a ton of underlying racism and classism involved. If you've ever been to one of these city council meetings or town meetings, the opposers are incredibly loud. They show up to every meeting and they oppose everything. The only way we can combat their negativity is to show up in force and say, no, fuck that. We need more housing. I urge you to look into your area and see if you have a housing coalition near you that you can get involved in. If you don't have one, start one, or even just start going to the meetings and voicing your concern with others' behavior and how exclusionary that they are being. We could have more housing in the state despite the small parcels of land that we have here. But as we saw in Milton with the MBTA's Act bullshit, that towns and cities are going to do everything that they can to keep other people out of their communities, to protect their property values. Oftentimes they'll say, well, we just want to protect the fabric of our community. And then in the same breath, they complain that their children can't afford a place to live. And they complain that no one wants to work anymore because all of the local stores aren't staffed. Because guess what? No one can afford to live near you, Nancy. I'm urging you, as someone who cares deeply about this problem, you need to get involved. Because if you don't, they're going to continue to vote against affordable housing projects, multifamily projects, and do everything in their power to protect what they already own and make sure that you get none of it. Local level is the only way that things change. The state can impose their own policies and the federal government can help with loans and whatnot. But at the end of the day, zoning in your town that restricts people from building affordable housing is the reason why you don't have any. I want you to use that anger for good. Get involved, get pissed off, and do something to change it.
See, this is one of the most frustrating things about the housing crisis right now. Whenever you mention it, at least one or two people in the room are going to say one of two things. Either you're lazy and you're not working hard enough, or you don't want to live in an area where the housing is actually cheap enough for people to afford it. Now, you get a graphic like this where it's like, here's all the areas where houses are under $150,000. Look, no disrespect to anybody that live in these areas. That is perfectly fine. I'm sure there are plenty of houses that are under 200K that are between two cornfields and have no jobs near them. And not only that, I'm sure you can totally uproot your family from everyone you know, grandparents, aunt, uncles, if you have kids. Take them out of a good school district and move all the way out to some BFA place in the middle of nowhere where there's absolutely no jobs. And if there is a job, they're paying you like $6 an hour. I am sure there are plenty of places that you can do that in the United States. But my problem comes in is when you make it sound like that's the way it's always been. Like people that are aged like 50, 45, or maybe a little bit older, they all had to move way out to the middle of nowhere with their families to afford a house. Not pretending like that affordable housing wasn't basically any place you wanted it as long as you were in the right area. Stop showing me these graphics of areas where nobody wants to live and there's no jobs, please.
Okay, Millennials and Gen Z. It's about 20 minutes worth of video from TikTok. What are your thoughts? Please leave comments and tell me your thoughts, okay? I want to go into this statistical data that I came across on in real time regarding the housing. We're going to look at it together, okay? Spend a few minutes because I'm about education here. So let me pull it up. Let me share my screen with you. Okay, that's what I want. Okay. So this here is statistical data from 1965 to currently from 1965 to 2024 on the average sales price of houses sold for the United States, right? So I'm going to show you guys something, okay? So I was born in 1965. So in 1965, the average home was about $19,300, okay? I graduated college in 1993 and purchased my very first home with my wife at the time for $55,000. So I'm going to 1993 and show you something. Okay. So in 1993, the average home for quarter two, Q1 was about, let's see, Q1, let me go to Q4. Q1 to Q4 was about $141,000 to $148,000 that year, which means that the home that me and my wife at the time purchased was under the average price of a home, right? So $55,000 versus $148,000. So what that tells you is there was plenty of supply, right? Now, back in the day when we first purchased our home, they had what was called HUD homes. They were fixer-uppers. Those days are long gone, long gone. And a lot of people bought HUD homes, and they were in different areas. I'm from Colorado. So they were in different areas throughout all of Colorado. And very nice areas, very mixed areas of Denver, Colorado, and some of the suburbs. So they were spread out pretty regularly, right? And we didn't get a HUD home, but we got a very nice, beautiful brick home that was built in 1927. $55,000. We lived in it from 1993 to 1997. Then we sold it. We sold it for $120,000. So in that 4-year period, we end up earning $65,000 in equity. So we took the equity from that home and applied it to our second home that we purchased in 1997, which was $415,000. So we put down $65,000. Financed what, 60,000? Right. So we financed $60,000, which made our mortgage maybe about $700 at the time, $800, something like that. And then a year later, we sold that house for $155,000, I want to say. Purchased the last home for $225,000 and ended up putting about $75,000 down and ended up financing, I want to say, about $150,000 for 30 years. Interest rate at that time was maybe 6%. So I remember our mortgage back then was about $1,400. Now, mind you, that home in 1998 was 3,000 square feet, main level, second level, completely open floor plan. And we had a 1,500 square foot basement that was unfinished, right? So that's what the price was. Now, let me go to 1998 when we purchased that. So 1998, $181,500. Now, when we paid $225,000, that was in a brand new development on a cul-de-sac. We built it from the ground up. So we got everything we wanted. So it's brand new, right? House 2 and 3 were brand new. So this is just showing you how much the housing has gone up, right? So when you look at 2010 recession, 2011 recession, you can tell when there was a recession, right? Because the demand for housing during recessions goes down, right? So demand goes down, supply comes up. So the price is going to drop. It's basic economics 101, supply and demand. So the demand for housing in 2015 is high. The demand for housing in 2020 is high. And the demand for housing in 2022 to 2024 is high. Now, the problem is, like you're seeing in some of these videos, is that greed. You know, these landlords, if that's what you want to call them, slumlords is what I call them, they're sitting on property. If you've got 15 million units that are vacant, you're sitting on them, that's greed. Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to fill them to the highest bidder. So I'm just not convinced there's not plenty of housing, but greed is a big part of it, right? So I just want to share that with you. Let me get out of this so I can bring my regular screen back up. But millennials and Gen Z, I don't want you to be discouraged. Like the black woman said, we're about the same age. I'll be 60 years old next year in 2025. She's 60 now. And we both know damn well that the market was totally different. So when adults in my generation get to talking that shit about you're lazy and you don't want to work, that's some bullshit, right? Their asses know. The first time they purchased a house, if they got it before 2000, it was maybe 100,000. And like she said, if her and her husband, if she was earning 25,000 a year, he was earning 25,000. That's $50,000 a year. 2 cars plus a home. Come on, man. Don't play. Don't play. So you got to, my generation, a lot of us were stupid for reasons beyond stupidity, right? And I don't let my generation crash your generation, millennials and Gen Z. I don't compare generations, for one. My daughters, I raised them, money management and everything, taught them about everything, right? And they're very smart women, very, very smart women. And they use their purchasing power the way they were taught. So I'm not going to crash millennials and say you're lazy. I'm not going to crash Gen Z and say you're lazy, because that just isn't true. I know that, and most of my generation knows it. But a lot of my generation, they're just bullshit. They straight are bullshit. And they're not interested in solutions. I'm interested in solutions. Sharing my wisdom podcast with Uncle E. We're about solutions here. This is why I'm sharing my wisdom. So I want to keep you engaged and encouraged. You're going to be able to afford a home. The one thing you have to remember, though, is you have to be reasonable and rational with your decision making when it comes to purchasing a home. You have to be realistic, and you have to live within your means. In your generations, since you grew up on the internet, you got to stop trying to hang out with the Joneses and everybody. When I see these TikTok videos and Instagram, and everybody ain't living in Dubai. Everybody doesn't have a Maserati or a Lamborghini. That's crazy. That's unobtainable. And you're single. And if you have those type of cars and you're not a millionaire, how you living? Come on, man. Social media got y'all jacked up too. Stop believing that foolishness and nonsense on social media, because it's not true. So save your money. You got to grind. Save your money. And then you position yourself. You will definitely position yourself to purchase a home. I promise you will. But you have to be disciplined, right? Because even when you purchase a home, human nature, you can never afford anything. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in 2025, because there's a new president coming in, Donald Trump, right? So since Republicans, I don't do politics. I despise politicians. They're all full of shit. They all lie, cheat, and steal, all of them. I'm an independent voter. I've been an independent voter my entire life. I don't do politics. I vote in every election. I vote in every state election because I have to be aware of what's going on, what's going to affect, my girls were little, what affects my community. You have to be aware. You have to understand what is being proposed and what's going on for the tax base, for the taxes of your community. So you young people, you have to be connected to that. It's not the responsibility of your parents to connect you in. You're adults. You have access to the World Wide Web, to the internet, to the world. So you have to be diligent and you have to handle your business, man. But you have to be aware of what's going on, where you want to live, because everything is based on location. Everything is based on location. Right? So millennials and Gen Z, I want to keep you encouraged, man. You can't give up. That's the most important thing. You can't quit. You cannot give up and quit. You cannot. This is going to pass. I promise you. But you have to grind. You have to work through it. It's the economy that you were given. That's what it is. I've lived through 7 recessions. Had to make adjustments with each recession that I lived through. 7 of them in my lifetime. Right? So millennials and Gen Z, you just have to, you have to take a deep breath, keep your chest up, keep your head high. You're going to figure it out because you have to. Because the minute you give up and throw in the towel, you're done. I'm telling you, you're done. I'm sharing my wisdom with you, right? Don't compare yourselves to other people. Live within your means. If you live within your means, you're going to be blessed. I promise you, you will. Okay? All right. So we're done with today's live stream. I appreciate you all. If you come across my YouTube channel, subscribe, like, share. Share my videos. Please do. Right? I'm growing my YouTube channel. I started this YouTube channel, I think I created it October the 21st, 2024. So it's not even a month old. And I'm going to make it happen. It's going to grow organically. And I'm looking forward to you young people. In January 2025, I'm going to change the format, and I'm going to bring Millennials and Gen Z on, and we're going to have a lot of deep discussions, sharing my wisdom with you. I want to hear from you. I can learn from you. You can definitely learn from me. Okay? So, yeah, hang in there, Millennials. Keep your head up, though. Gen Z, keep your heads up, man. It's going to get better. Food prices ain't always going to be the same, right? Look at the video I did last week before this, talking about grocery store prices versus buying directly from farmers. That's video number 3. Check that video out, right? Because I'm all about solutions. Every time I come here, every week, we are going to talk solutions. That's what we're talking about. Solutions, solutions, solutions. I'm solution based. I know there's a solution for everything. I'm almost 60 years old. So I know there's a solution for everything, right? All right, Millennials and Gen Z. Mi amigos. Hasta la próxima semana. Paz. I'm out. This is Ephraim B. Martin, Millennials and Gen Z. Love you all. Have a blessed week. Keep me in your daily prayers as I will do the same, okay? I'm going to holler at you. Until next week, I'm out. Peace.